the Dragon Steamboat!
When it comes to professional wrestling legends, few names spark as much admiration as Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Known for his agility and charisma, Steamboat has carved out a legacy that remains unmatched in the history of wrestling. Now, at the age of 71, many fans wonder, where is Ricky Steamboat today? What has he been up to since stepping out of the wrestling ring for good? Let's take a look at where this wrestling legend is today and reflect on his incredible career. Before we talk about what Ricky Steamboat is doing now, let's remember why he's such a big name in wrestling. Steamboat started wrestling in the 1970s and quickly became a fan favorite because of his technical skill and athleticism. While many wrestlers relied on larger-than-life characters and hard-hitting moves, Steamboat focused on mastering the art of wrestling itself. Every move was smooth, calculated, and exciting to watch. His rivalry with Macho Man Randy Savage is still talked about today, especially their famous match at WrestleMania 3. Many fans and critics consider it one of the best wrestling matches of all time. Steamboat's ability to tell a story inside the ring and his incredible endurance made him stand out from the crowd. Like all athletes, there comes a time when the body just can't handle the physical demands anymore. Ricky Steamboat retired from full-time wrestling in 1994. However, retirement didn't mean he completely stepped away from the wrestling world. He made occasional appearances over the years, and in 2009, at the age of 56, he even returned for a few matches, reminding fans that he still had it. His performances amazed everyone, proving that even in his 50s, he could keep up with younger wrestlers. After that brief return, Steamboat focused on helping out behind the scenes. He worked with WWE as a trainer and producer, passing down his knowledge to the next generation of wrestlers. Many up-and-coming stars owe a lot to Steamboat for the lessons he shared with them during his time as a trainer. In 2010, Steamboat had a serious health scare when he suffered a brain aneurysm. Fans were shocked and worried about his condition, as this kind of injury is incredibly dangerous. Thankfully, after a period of recovery, Steamboat pulled through and made a full recovery. While this meant his days of getting back in the ring were officially over, it didn't stop him from staying involved in the wrestling business. At 71, Ricky Steamboat has slowed down a bit, but he's still staying active in the wrestling world in his own way. Although he's no longer working for WWE full-time, you can still catch him at various wrestling events, conventions, and autograph signings. Fans love seeing him and hearing his stories, and Steamboat is always happy to meet them. Even though he's not wrestling anymore, he continues to share his wisdom with younger wrestlers. He occasionally works with independent wrestling promotions, offering advice to those trying to make it big. His years of experience are invaluable, and he enjoys mentoring the next generation of talent. However, like many wrestlers, Steamboat's career also had its controversies and challenges. Here we'll take a closer look at some of the more debated moments in his career, including his legendary WrestleMania 3 match with Randy Savage, his departure from WWF in 1988, rumors of his refusal to lose to The Undertaker, and the role his wife played in his contract negotiations. Steamboat's match against Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3 is widely considered a classic. If you're a wrestling fan, you've probably seen it more than a few times. It's just that good. The match is a masterpiece in terms of athleticism and storytelling. But here's where some fans and critics have split opinions. Was it too choreographed? Unlike many wrestling matches, which can have a lot of improvisation and on-the-fly adjustments, Steamboat and Savage planned out nearly every move ahead of time. They worked together to create a match that flowed perfectly from one sequence to the next, leaving little room for spontaneity. Some people feel like this made the match feel a bit too polished. In their eyes, wrestling should feel raw and more unpredictable, and all that planning took away from that. On the flip side, a lot of fans argue that this level of precision is exactly what made the match so incredible. Every move had a purpose, every moment built on the last, and by the time Steamboat got the win, it felt like you just watched something truly special. But this is not his only controversy. In 1988, at the height of his popularity, Ricky Steamboat made the decision to leave the World Wrestling Federation after requesting time off for the birth of his son. At the time, it wasn't uncommon for wrestlers to push through personal milestones for the sake of their careers. The wrestling industry was, and still is, notoriously demanding. with little time for personal breaks. However, Steamboat's request for time off was not met with a warm response. When Steamboat returned to the company after his time off, he found that his position had changed. He was no longer pushed as a top star and wasn't given the same high-profile opportunities he once had. Many fans and industry insiders speculated that this de-push was a form of punishment from the WWF for taking time off during a crucial point in his career. This incident has sparked ongoing discussions about the treatment of wrestlers by promotions and the sacrifices they often have to make between their professional and personal lives. Another key moment in Steamboat's career is shrouded in rumor and speculation. In 1991, Steamboat left the WWF once again, and there have been persistent rumors that he did so to avoid losing a squash match to The Undertaker. At the time, The Undertaker was being built up as a dominant force in the company, and squashing a well-known wrestler like Steamboat would have helped establish his dominance. However, it's been said that Steamboat wasn't willing to go along with this plan. Although the story has never been definitively confirmed, it has contributed to Steamboat's reputation as someone who valued his legacy and was willing to stand up for himself. While some fans believe that wrestlers should always follow the company's direction, others admire Steamboat's decision to protect his image and legacy, even if it meant leaving a major promotion like the WWF. In wrestling, where reputations are built on wins and losses, a squash match can significantly impact how a wrestler is perceived. Whether or not the rumors are true, Steamboat's departure in 1991 has become part of his legacy, showing that he wasn't afraid to make tough decisions when it came to his career. Last but not least, Ricky Steamboat's wife, Bonnie, was known for being actively involved in his wrestling contract negotiations. She wasn't just a supportive spouse on the sidelines. She was in the thick of things, fighting for the best deals for her husband. This approach definitely rubbed some people the wrong way. Some promoters and wrestling officials felt it made things more complicated and even led to some tense discussions. They preferred to deal directly with the wrestler, not their family members. On the other hand, there were those who understood and even admired Bonnie's dedication. They saw it as a wife, simply looking out for her husband's best interests in a business that can be pretty cutthroat. It showed she was willing to go the extra mile to ensure he was treated fairly and compensated well. Even though he had some controversies, his career was top-notch and worth discussing. For the real fans, here is the career of Ricky Steamboat. Steamboat was born in West Point, New York, and comes from a mixed English and Japanese-American background. After moving to Florida, he graduated from Boca Ciega High School in 1971, where he was part of the wrestling team. His passion for wrestling began in his teenage years, and it eventually led him to train with well-known wrestling figures, Verne Gagne and the Iron Sheik. His professional debut came in 1976 when he wrestled under the name Dick Blood in the AWA. However, it wasn't long before he moved to Championship Wrestling from Florida, where he received the name Ricky Steamboat. This new name was inspired by his resemblance to a Hawaiian wrestler named Sammy Steamboat. According to his trainers, Rick Blood was better suited for a villain, but Ricky Steamboat fit the image of a hero, or babyface, which would be his role for most of his career. In 1977, Steamboat joined Jim Crockett Promotions, JCP, an affiliate of the National Wrestling Alliance. He quickly became a fan favorite, known for his respectful demeanor and incredible athleticism. His first major feud was against Ric Flair, with whom he would have many legendary matches throughout his career. Steamboat's victory over Flair in the late 70s for the NWA Mid-Atlantic Television Championship skyrocketed his popularity. Over the next several years, Steamboat won multiple championships, including the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship and the NWA World Tag Team Championship. His feuds with the likes of Paul Jones, Jay Youngblood, and Tully Blanchard only added to his growing reputation. During this time, he became a 12-time World Tag Team Champion and held several other titles, further cementing his status as one of the top performers in the industry. Steamboat's most memorable moment came at WrestleMania 3rd in 1987, where he faced Randy Macho Man Savage for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The match, a fast-paced and technically brilliant showcase, is still considered one of the greatest in professional wrestling history. Steamboat's victory over Savage made him the Intercontinental Champion and solidified his place as a wrestling legend. The match was named Match of the Year by multiple outlets and is frequently cited as an inspiration for future generations of wrestlers. However, shortly after this career-defining moment, Steamboat asked for time off to be with his wife and newborn son. This decision did not sit well with WWF management, and as a result, He lost the title to the Honky Tonk Man shortly after his return. In 1989, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat made a big return to wrestling, joining World Championship Wrestling, part of the National Wrestling Alliance. Fans were surprised when Steamboat teamed up with Eddie Gilbert to face Ric Flair and Barry Windham. Steamboat pinned Flair, which earned him a chance at the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. At the Chi-Town Rumble event, Steamboat beat Flair and became the new champion. He even defended the title in Japan against Tiger Mask 2, making him the last NWA champion to do so. Steamboat and Flair's rivalry was intense, with several big matches. After successfully defending his title at Clash of the Champions 6, Steamboat eventually lost the title back to Flair at Wrestle War in May. Even though Steamboat lost the championship, he remained a top contender, which upset Lex Luger. This led to Luger attacking Steamboat during a June event, turning into a bad guy. Steamboat asked for a no disqualification match against Luger, but he ended up losing after hitting Luger with a chair. Due to contract issues, this was Steamboat's last major match in WCW for 1989. After leaving WCW, Steamboat had surgery on his foot but returned to wrestling in early 1990. He joined the North American Wrestling Association and had a feud with Robert Fuller over the heavyweight title. Around this time, he also wrestled in Japan, where he faced big names like Hiroshi Haza and the Great Muta. In 1991, Steamboat came back to the World Wrestling Federation, this time as the Dragon. His entrance included fire breathing and a new, fresh look. Although he had been a star in WWF before, Steamboat was treated like a new wrestler, winning many matches on TV, including against the Brooklyn Brawler and Haku. Despite his success, Steamboat left WWF later that year after some disagreements with the company. Later in 1991, Steamboat returned to WCW and quickly made an impact. He teamed up with Dustin Rhodes and won the WCW World Tag Team Championship. Steamboat then got involved in a feud with the Dangerous Alliance, including wrestlers like Arn Anderson and Rick Rude. Fans loved his matches, especially his performance in the War Games match at Wrestle War, which got great reviews. In 1992, Steamboat won the WCW World Television Championship by beating Steve Austin, but lost the title soon after. He also teamed with Shane Douglas to win both the NWA and WCW World Tag Team titles. In 1994, Steamboat reignited his rivalry with Ric Flair over the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Their match at Spring Stampede ended in a double pin, but Flair later won the title. Steamboat then focused on a feud with Steve Austin over the United States Heavyweight Championship. Steamboat won the title, but due to a back injury, he had to give it up and temporarily retire from wrestling. Although he retired from in-ring action in 1994, Steamboat stayed involved in wrestling. He worked as a referee in Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling and Ring of Honor, even mentoring a young CM Punk. In 2005, Steamboat returned to WWE as a producer and legend, appearing at events and even wrestling Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 25 in 2009. His performance wowed fans, showing he still had plenty of skill in the ring. In conclusion, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's legacy in professional wrestling is nothing short of legendary. From his debut in the 1970s to his unforgettable matches with icons like Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Ric Flair, Steamboat consistently demonstrated a level of athleticism, storytelling, and technical prowess that few could match. His rivalry with Savage, especially their WrestleMania 3 Classic, is still talked about as one of the greatest matches in wrestling history. Even after stepping away from full-time wrestling in 1994, Steamboat remained involved in the industry, both in the ring for brief returns and behind the scenes as a trainer and mentor to younger wrestlers. Steamboat's influence didn't stop with his retirement from the squared circle. He played a pivotal role in shaping future stars, passing on his wealth of knowledge to ensure that the next generation of wrestlers carried forward the art of professional wrestling. His resilience after his health scare in 2010 only further cements his legacy, showing the same fighting spirit that defined his career in the ring. Today, at 71, he continues to be active in the wrestling world, attending conventions, signing autographs, and sharing stories with fans who hold him in the highest regard. His career wasn't without its controversies, from his decision to leave WWF at the height of his popularity to rumors about his departure to avoid losing to The Undertaker. Despite these moments, Steamboat's reputation as a man who valued his integrity and his legacy remained intact. Whether facing off against some of the greatest wrestlers of all time, standing up for his personal values, or navigating the tough business of contract negotiations with the help of his wife, Bonnie, Steamboat's career has been a testament to passion, skill, and perseverance. Though his days of competing in the ring are behind him, Ricky Steamboat's influence on professional wrestling will never be forgotten. His iconic matches, dedication to the craft, and contributions behind the scenes have left an indelible mark on the sport. Wrestling fans across the globe continue to admire and appreciate the career of the Dragon, whose legacy as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time remains untouchable. If you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane and want to learn more about legends like Ricky Steamboat, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more wrestling history, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive content. Don't forget to hit the like button and click the bell icon so you never miss an update on your favorite wrestling legends. Keep the conversation going in the comments and let us know your favorite Ricky Steamboat moment.